Mayor live from Palm Beach, Florida. And again, at our new hour, 7 o'clock. Enjoyed it last night. It seemed like most of you got it, but we'll go on into 8 so that we pick up anybody who may be still used to the 8 o'clock hour and redirect you to 7. And then eventually we're going to be on, hopefully, from 8 to 8:30, maybe even 8 to 9. We'll see, with America's Mayor Confidential. But right now, let's stick with America's Mayor Live. I mean, there's something, I don't know how to describe this, horribly tragic and wonderfully heroic and beautiful at the same time. It's the front page. I'm going to rip into them today over something. Let me praise them for their headline. There it is, Agony and Ecstasy. Now, what they are, and you see that beautiful young lady on the front, this is a contrast of 2 Israeli women. The one that you just saw right there is unfortunately and tragically the agony. She was taken hostage on October 7 during the Hamas attack. Let's not forget it. We tend to forget it. Her name is Nicole Luke, Shani Nicole Luke, to be exact. She is a young 23-year-old German-Israeli artist, a tattoo artist, in fact, and she was at the Tribe of Nova dance rave, which is in the Negev, in the desert. The Negev desert, which previously had been a safe, look, no place in Israel is safe, but a relatively safe place to be. In fact, I would say in some ways Israel is safer, if we don't count the recent activity, than many of our democratically run cities. There's certainly less killing per capita than, let's say, in democratically run Chicago or Philadelphia, St. Louis, maybe Los Angeles, maybe San Francisco per capita. I'm not sure. New York is probably less per capita. But in any event, on the 7th, she was there enjoying herself with all of the other young people who were slaughtered and butchered by the Hamas animals, terrorists, the ones that our college students are cheering for and our college professors are cheering them on, and our newspapers are covering up for, and the UN is really supporting. Those butchers took her. She called her mom to tell her she was trying to get to her car to leave. That was on the 7th, and that's the last her mother heard from her. Her mother actually is in Germany. Her name is Ricarda Luke. She was informed, I believe, on that day of the death of her husband by these savages. And she did notice she believed an image of her daughter in a car being taken away, but alive at the time. But they haven't heard from her since then until yesterday, when Shani Nicole's head was found by the Israeli army. The DNA analysis on parts of the skull confirmed it was her. And that's all of her body that was recovered for her mom. That's what we're dealing with. One small incident. Is it small? It's the beheading of a 23-year-old girl in the 21st century, in the year of our Lord 2023. And we accept that. This is taking us back to the time of Muhammad, isn't it? Now, Our prayers, our sympathy, our love goes out to the Luke family of this beautiful soul. Her head was chopped off, and they want a ceasefire so that Hamas can rearm and kill more and chop off more heads. But does he have a soul? For many reasons, I don't believe so. I believe we have a president who has lost his soul somewhere around the 40th sellout of America. The second story, however, is a beautiful story. It's a really, really beautiful story. On October 7, Private Ori Megadish, Israeli woman who was serving in the IDF, was captured, and she was taken into imprisonment. However, yesterday, the same day, extricated her without hurting her. Who cares what they did to the people around her? This was done by the Shin Bet and the IDF together in a joint mission. Private Ori Megadish. She comes from a little village in the Negev, and Kiryat Gat. And would you believe that yesterday and today, fireworks and celebrations and singing and dancing and appreciating life. You know, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to do that if you're a whole human being. Cry and dance on the same day. And I was told that by a mother of a firefighter, the last firefighter to die before September 11. I walked that woman's daughter down the aisle after September 11 because she told me on the same day, you have to know how to laugh and to cry. And stayed with me. It helped me through September 11. Well, we lost a beautiful young woman and we gained one. It's God's way. We've got to work with it. We've got to be brave. And we have to realize we're on the side of right. I don't know when it's ever been clearer that we've been on the side of right. Maybe against the Nazis, huh? Sure. Certainly against the communists, certainly against China, who's killed 80 million of its own people. These are animals. So a hostage saved without the loss of life. There are also three women who are asking Bibi to hold up the attack. They are being held hostage, and this is very, very sad. Here are the three women. They're all being held hostage by the animals. Who knows what they're doing to them? Who knows what they put them up to? But the women to hold up the attack and not to go forward so that they can be saved. Of course, we understand that. Of course, we cry with them. But the simple fact is that it can't be done because to save these three, you will surely lose scores of Israeli lives if you do a ceasefire. The enemy that's on the run right now will be able to rearm. The material that we're sending for humanitarian aid, which is a joke, a disgusting, horrible joke, it will go right to Hamas, so they'll be able to reinforce themselves and kill even more Israelis and chop even more young ladies' heads off. So let's hope these women can be saved the way Private Megadish was. But there's no doubt the Israeli ambassador to the UN today made it clear that there will be no ceasefire, no matter how Biden begs, threatens. I don't know, maybe he'll bribe like he did in Ukraine. Who knows? He's capable of it, right? But there can't possibly be a ceasefire. This started, it's got to go to the end. Enough compromises have been made. Enough extra Israelis have been killed because of Biden. We don't need any more. The sooner the better, and the sooner over with. There'll be these attempts to interrupt it so that Hamas can be saved, so they can do it again. Yesterday, and as far as I could check up until today, have been enormously successful for the Israeli army. Of course, they entered Gaza 2 days ago. They have not now completely pierced the northern border of Gaza, as they said they would. They've also entered at least midway down the northern border from the east and going west, and have gotten so far as to sever the main road that connects north and south Gaza. So it looks something like this. If you want to take a look at it, you see those circles. The circle on top will show you the invasion from the north. You see there are at least 4 invasions from the north across the Erez border crossing. Now they have proceeded. You see that circle? They have coast. You see the tank pointing at the coast there. They are now in the process of surrounding Gaza City. That circle has probably extended from the time that I did it around 4 o'clock this afternoon. And you probably could put Gaza City in that circle. I'm almost certain that Gaza City either is theirs or will be theirs by the end of the night. There we go. That's important because that's their main. And for example, that's where the Al-Faya Hospital exists, which is their main command post. Notice what I said. The hospital is their main command post. In that hospital are their commanders, connections to their vast tunnel system, armaments, all built with the hospital surrounding it, with 800, 900 patients, operations going on, because they are inviting the Israelis to kill their citizens. That all could have been any civilized country who had the slightest bit of care for their men, women, and children who were innocent, would have removed them to the south, which is why Israel is entering this way. Let's take a look again. Israel has been saying to the people of Gaza, go south. The Hamas has been saying, stay north. Israel has initially attacked north. This is where the casualties are happening, here. This is where the Hamas leaders have told their people to go. This is where the Israelis have told them to go. This is where they get killed. This is where they're not getting killed. Who wants them dead? Who wants them dead? I've got to tell you. Also, if you notice, then there was an entry from the west, several invasions which have already gotten to the middle of Gaza and have taken the main road. And you see the 2 arrows that have now severed the main road, so that anything going north to south on that road is now blocked by. I assume that before long, this will happen there. If it hasn't happened already, and that red line will show it. that will happen. Let me show it to you. It will be split in half. Northern Gaza will be carved from southern Gaza, reminiscent of what MacArthur did to North Korea before Truman forced him to lose the war to Red China, when he flanked them in one of the most brilliant military maneuvers in history, forced to endure his men being killed by the Chinese communists and not being able to respond. And when he did respond, he was fired, as he probably should have been. But maybe if Truman hadn't been surrounded by so many communists, we never would have had the Cold War. Because if MacArthur had gone into China then, would have decimated Chinese army, and an American army not nearly as decimated, ready to go, ready for an invasion of Japan if it had to. Right? Remember, we were ready for invasion of Japan. But I don't think the Israelis will make this. What I think will happen is that line will continue to descend until they will wipe out all of the Gaza, the Hamas facilities in the north, where more of them are. When they get down to about here, kind of the work that they're going to have to do. Down here, there aren't as many military facilities, but here's where the big question exists. You see at the bottom there a little country, which is a very big one, we only see a little bit of it, called Egypt. Do you know they won't let them in? They will not let them in. We don't see on the map Jordan. They won't let them in, despite the fact that the Queen of Jordan, who supports the terrorist animals, Queen Irena, remember her name. She's quite a beautiful eyes, a dark soul, because she supports the terrorists. But she can't, beautiful though she is, she cannot prevail upon her husband, Abdullah, to allow a single Palestinian across the border. But American politicians want to do that, and quite surprisingly, a Republican. And when we come back after our break, I'll tell you who it is, because this is one you surely cannot vote for, because it is a person devoid of even basic common sense. To say that America should take Palestinians when the Arabs will not take Palestinians. By the way, it's universal. Jordan is probably the strongest in Egypt because they've had the most people killed by the Palestinians. But Iran, which has given them all kinds of money and probably won't take them either. But the Democrats and one Republican wants to take them. So the invasion is proceeding, I think, given all the interruptions by Biden, given all the ridiculous humanitarian relief, which is just more arms and fuel and food for Hamas. They've made some very, very deep inroads. There was a complaint that a white car was shot at and killed. And it was a car that had a white flag on it. I looked at that tape very, very carefully. I'll probably have it for you tomorrow night if I can grab it from somebody. There's no white flag on the car. Just another damn Hamas lie. I think they told it in the UN. There's no white flag on the car. Those soldiers wouldn't have known what the hell it was. It could have been a suicide bomber coming at them. You want to drive, it's going to blow you up if you're in Gaza, okay? So don't drive toward the tank, idiot.
Mayor.
And if it wasn't a Hamas person, it was unfortunately a Palestinian who probably was taught to kill Jews and Americans in grade school. Oh, but we should take him into the United States. You know, yesterday they waved the Israeli flag in Gaza for the first time in 18 years. A flag of freedom and safety and a flag of decency. Now, this is not the only conflict. There are smaller conflicts going on, which we're going to talk about in a minute. In the north, from Lebanon, in the north from Syria, and also from the south with the Houthis and other not as carefully trained proxies. And they are killing Israelis. But unlike the Americans, who have taken, as we will point out when we come back, a number of hits from them without any kind of meaningful response, the Israelis hit them back the way men of war do, and not silly, sissy, liberal punks. We'll be back after this short break. Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now. In Washington and New York, quite a victim of the New York, which you will hear a lot about. Of course, it's time to really take the gloves off now. So the Israeli invasion has professionally, and as you expected the Israeli army to do, and I think they have just begun. And they show no inclination to listen to the friends of Iran that are in the White House, not the slight. And there is no doubt that the White House is on Iran's side. Now, you know that because the Hamas strategy is really simple. The Hamas strategy, and I'll read to you from William McGurn in the Wall Street Journal, a very prominent columnist with whom I agree and disagree, but this is a quote. Hamas and Palestine, because they're the same, stop getting confused. It wants Israel to kill civilians in Gaza so it can use their deaths in the propaganda war. There's a short treatment of it. There's a longer treatment of it in Commentary Magazine by Seth Mendel, who points out that Hamas uses a number of the hospitals to not only have as their headquarters for the main Hamas leadership, 3 of whom were killed overnight, by the way, last night. I don't know that we have all of the identifications, but 3 main people, including, he was killed 2 days ago, the guy who led the paragliders, which is clearly Iranian inspired. So that guy was an Iranian stooge. But Hamas uses the hospitals, Al-Shifa being the main one. And Al-Shifa is maybe, if not their largest hospital, one of their largest, and it's their biggest command center. And the media and the NGOs, you do know that most of the NGOs are rabidly left-wing and horribly corrupt. That's why problems never get solved, because the money never gets to the people. And the media, well, they want a cessation, a pause, so that the people can be supplied Well, Hamas has 3 months of supplies. My guess is they've got more because they stole the last group of supplies that came in. And why did Hamas supply them? Authority. So Hamas wants to keep its supplies. It will steal most of the supplies coming in for the people, but they will give their people no supplies. They expect the enemy, the ones whose heads they chopped off and bodies and women they raped, they expect them to supply it. Now, do we have the cut, Ted, from that pathetic former Admiral Kirby? And I feel very, very sorry when a man who served the United States becomes something not quite a thing, very, very close to it. I mean, the way he lies for Biden is at the point of disgraceful. Do we have his cut from today where he basically says that we know that the humanitarian supplies are getting Hamas, but to the people because we give it to the, now I'm not going to laugh at this, but I should, the UN. Who is the UN? They support Israel? They support the US? Who's going to be head of the UN Human Rights Council in a month? The group they're working with the UN has been known to supply Hamas for the last 10 years. I don't even think they make a pretense of it, except so that Kirby can say it. I don't know if he just caught or he's become a liar since he was an admiral. But he sure as hell doesn't seem to love his country to say things like that.
We can play the cut.
Yeah, let's play him acting like a complete fool.
I want to be very clear on this. We have seen no indication, none, that Hamas has gotten their hands on any of the humanitarian assistance that has gone in. None of it.
We gave it to the UN. I mean, this would be like saying, "Oh no, we gave it to the the Hitler youth, not Hitler. So the youth got to keep it." The UN is worse than worthless. Please realize that. The UN is on the other side. It is against the United States. It is against Israel. It would be very happy with the destruction of the state of Israel and the killing of all Jews. Might not be so unhappy with us too going unless, particularly if they found a way to take all our money. Why we stay in that pathetic organization, anything to even attempt to solve a war since Korea, when most of you weren't born, I don't know. It's a complete and total waste of money. And because it's there, gives a false impression that problems can be solved that can't. And we would suffer nothing by leaving. Nothing. Except gain great respect for understanding how to protect ourselves. The pathetic admiral also made it clear we've been attacked now 6 more times since October 26th. I think that's when we responded. So he is joining Wussy Sullivan with this, we're going to strike back. Yeah. So they struck us about 20 times. 19 times to be. And we went ahead and we did a massive pinprick attack. We hit an empty ammo depot, empty of people. And then we hit an ammo depot empty of ammo. That's it. Meanwhile, they sent 24 Americans to the hospital and killed one. Seems scary attack. And then Sullivan warned them, you do it again, and we're really going to attack. Well, they have done it again 6 times, and we haven't done a damn thing, excuse me. And basically today, Admiral Kirby, there have been 27 attacks, 16 on American forces in Iraq, and 11 on American forces in Syria. At least 24 Americans injured, 1 American dead. And we've done nothing. We've done basically less than Clinton did when he fecklessly attacked bin Laden and encouraged 9/11. But you should be very, very proud to know that Israel is doing our dirty work for us. They have hit back and they've killed people. See, that's what war is about. They didn't hit empty ammo places, and they hit places where there are soldiers. See, that's what they're doing to us, General, Admiral, and the demented one. They're hitting places where our military are. That's why they're getting injured, and only by the grace of God not being killed, except one. You're hitting places where there are no soldiers. They will continue to escalate and will eventually kill some of our soldiers. But that doesn't matter to you. I mean, you've got so many people that you've gotten killed that you probably don't even think about it anymore. I mean, gosh, after Afghanistan, what, you're going to set the record for the most Americans that have been killed by an American president, short of an actual, declared war. Jake Sullivan, issued the warning for you, but there have been 6 attacks since then. Of course, Jake Sullivan is the one who got Foreign Policy magazine to fix his article, because Foreign Policy magazine is no longer a legitimate magazine. He wrote an article shortly before the attack saying how peaceful things were in the Middle East, and praising Biden for doing such a better job than Trump. Foreign Policy let him take it out. Doesn't that finish you at Foreign Policy? You need to know more about him? We'll tell you more about him when we can, okay? But I mean, don't waste your money. They cost a lot of money anyway. Don't waste your money on it. Hamas is now saying they're going to release more hostages. Good. Not going to do any good. This is not going to stop. It's not going to be called back. What Bibi Netanyahu said, I am quite convinced, is going to carry through on. He's going to eliminate every single one of you, because you deserve to be eliminated from the face of the earth, because you're vicious savages who threaten good and decent people. And we have got to protect ourselves. There's no choice. They try a ceasefire. Humanitarian aid. I mean, what's the use of humanitarian aid? The faster we get this over with, the more people will live. The more humanitarian aid that goes, the sooner the longer this goes on, piecemeal. We can figure out at the end how many more Israeli lives Biden cost us. But let's face it, this is a very, very, very warped response. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back. Light out of my eyes, please.
Our device is something that you can plug into your television, and now you can use your television as a social television type experience. So in the Portal universe, you can watch your favorite content creators' videos, live streams, music. We also have TV subscriptions as well.
Subscriptions.
You can also
regular channels, all the sports.
Right. You can actually cut your cable from your cable subscription and get QUX TV on our QX TV boxes, and you can pay half the price that you're currently paying for your cable television subscription, and you can get all the best premium TV channels and more. I mean, it's really, there's so much on there, Rudy. I mean, you've seen it.
No, I've seen it, and I use it, and it's I mean, it's just exactly the same, except for half the price. Plus, nobody is finding out what I'm watching, and that's not being reported to anybody.
Right, so you have absolute privacy. using this device, which you don't have on other devices out there currently on the market.
This is absolutely great. QUX.TV is how you can find out about it. QUX.TV.
Use promo code Rudy to receive $30 off.
Or is that the highest it'll go? I'm having trouble reading this. Are we back?
Yep.
Well, you heard me say I'm having trouble reading this because the lights were right in my eyes. Because right here I have for example, we have Kirby and his unfortunate. I feel sorry for Kirby because I respect everyone who I don't feel sorry for the liar. I feel sorry for the designated liar. He's like, he comes in and pinch hits for Karine when after she tells 4 or 5 lies, he comes in. He generally like talks around the lies. He's not like a direct liar like she is. She's like a direct liar, sort of like a Biden Clinton type liar. So let's talk a little about something that Ted and I and Dr. Maria spent some time on today. And after we take the next break, I'm going to see if we can get Dr. Maria to also give her observations about this. First, let me bring you up to date on politics, since we are here in Florida, and we will see the president tomorrow night. I'm sorry, the ex-president tomorrow night. Wishful thinking on the Poliani, who is a loyal supporter of Donald Trump because Donald Trump didn't do anything wrong. He's also someone that will not lie to save his skin. That used to be respected among men. Now, who knows? The Washington Examiner was President Biden leading Donald Trump in 4 of the key swing states by more than 5 points. These are the states that Hillary Clinton lost to him. So they're basically saying that Biden is running like Hillary. Man.
Ooh, that's not good.
Now, the one thing she is, she's not demented. And I actually think, I now am convinced he's actually more evil. I think they took money. I don't think they took quite that much. But who knows? I may be wrong. Haley can win, says the former New York City politician Andrew Stein, who is a friend of mine, I think, but told a terrible lie about me, as several other friends have told about me. So I'm not going after Andrew. I also know that Andrew, there are reasons why, you can't be too hard on Andrew. In any event, he's just not telling the truth. But he thinks Haley can win. I would like to know how Haley is going to overcome wanting Palestinians in America. And I wonder if Ann's article with Dershowitz today realizes that she said that, because it's totally contrary to the article, which I hope he at least read. And Haley made it clear that half the Palestinians are really, really good people. Oh, yeah, they don't want anything to do with Hamas. Those are the ones you see demonstrating in the streets. Oh, no, wait. They've never demonstrated in the streets, have they? Those are the ones that you see in class learning how to kill Jews, Andy. Yeah, did you ever see that, Andy? Your candidate wants to bring him in. Maybe they'll move him right next to you. Would you know the difference? Trump, meanwhile, is putting out very detailed plans on his campaign. We'll see him tomorrow night. Maybe we'll get a chance to question him a little. But there's quite a breakdown here. Fire potentially thousands of federal employees who the president deemed. I got rid of about altogether 5,000 right away. I cleaned that. The reason I was so successful is I cleaned the damn place out of the crooked Democrats. They're back now, but I got rid of them. For me, that's why I was the most successful mayor in modern history. And nobody's even come close to reducing crime the way I did. I don't even have a competitor. I'm sort of like the Mariano Rivera You know, Mariano was so much better a relief pitch than anybody else. He went in unanimously.
That's a good analogy.
Assert control over independent agencies like the Federal Trade Commission and the Federal Communications Commissions, which have become like the commissars in Russia, like the bureaucratic communist organizations that make up the laws, who aren't elected and aren't appointed, or they are appointed but they're independent. They're going to get rid of the communists who are there now. Spending, revive the so-called impoundment power, which presidents have asserted to refuse to spend money appropriated by Congress, like $60 billion to Ukraine without any control over it. Some silly person wrote in the Hill, some silly reporter wrote in the Hill, most of the money that went to Ukraine wasn't cash. Well, first of all, I'd like to know how he knows that, since there is no accounting provided for the money. But second, even that statement is kind of weird. Over $100 billion is gone, and let's say most of it wasn't cash. Well, how much of it was cash? 5%? That'd be $5 billion in cash. Biden's bribes. The Zelensky could be making more than Poroshenko, and he was the biggest crook. I mean, you're dealing with silly people. You're dealing with, I'm not talking to you, my audience. I'm talking to the people in the administration. You're dealing with the most corrupt. Well, you know it. Oh, gee, Ted, I forgot. We got a president who is as corrupt as they are. Could be the reason he wants $60 billion for Ukraine and only $14 billion for Israel.
And how much should that concern the American people, Mayor? Not only that we have a corrupt president, but that he has allegiances to others before. It appears that he may have allegiances to others before.
Okay, can I just correct you?
Yes, sir.
My job to train you, right?
Yes.
Weasel words.
Okay.
It appears a bit of it.
He has allegiances to others above the United States and the Constitution.
30 million of them to China. About 20 million to Ukraine.
And
Those are the allegiances.
And not that this would ever be a good thing, but look at what's happening around the world, Mayor. With the Middle East.
You think it's an accident? You think it's an accident that we get our most corrupt president who has been taking bribes from our enemies, and all of a sudden the world's at war? You think it's an accident? I don't think it's an accident. I don't believe in accidents like that. Trump immediately restore a border. That a president of the United States has to say, I'm going to restore a border. Do you realize he is basically given away the sovereignty of the United States at the southern border? Do you have any understanding of how many terrorists have come over? Many responsible people have warned us that we better watch out for a massive attack. We got many more Islamic extremist terrorists in this country than we ever did. Probably makes some of the Democrats really happy, since they gave them a lot. I mean, look at all the money. Look at all the money that Obama gave. Whose side is he on? I mean, so he's going to restation all of the examinations on the Mexican side. He's going to send thousands of troops there. The Mexicans are going to agree like they did before. I happen to know the inside of, because I know the president of Mexico. Well, drugs, to impose a full naval embargo to prevent fentanyl from getting into this country. Do you know, like last year, 2.5 million came in illegally that we know about under Biden. His last year in office, 450,000 came in under Trump. That is a big, huge difference. Fentanyl was there in forever. I know that, and I know the programs that were planned for the future because my son worked very heavily on that and was very excited about the progress they had made. He's going to impose restrictions on Chinese ownership of infrastructure in the U.S. Oh, Andy, another Nikki Haley, she sold a good portion of South Carolina to China. Trump is going to have to get it back. Some of it near military bases. You still want to support her, Andy? Think she can win a Republican primary as that comes out? You think Republicans like people who sell property to the red Chinese next to air bases? That's why we're Republicans, because we don't do that. I know you're a Democrat that acts like a Republican, but you still have a lot of that stuff left over, I guess. So those are some of the things that the president is talking about, because he is using this time to further the interests of our country, as well as making it clear that he would operate very, very differently in Israel. So now we're going to take another break, and this is a short one. I take it out, and then maybe we'll take a call or two. And then if you want to stay tuned for America's Mayor Confidential, which we'll do for about a half hour after this, we'll take even more calls. Okay? We'll be right back, able to be ready for my cock check.
Body is an amazing chemical laboratory. When you give it the right chemistry, it functions the best. Balance of Nature is the ultimate whole fruit and vegetable chemistry.
Get 35% off your first order by using discount code RUDY.
Well, you heard that. This is Balance of Nature. It gives you the vegetables and it gives you the fruit that you need every day by taking these pills. I take them twice, 2 of each in the morning, 2 of each in the afternoon. Here's a vegetable. Here's the fruits. Here are the fruits and vegetables together. Go to balanceofnature.com.
You should use that promo code.
Come on! Balance of Nature. Do us a favor. Give it a try. It would really help us. Really would. It would help us be able to expand this program.
That's Balance of Nature.
Do it with money, right? But this is just to show you that it's good for you and that I'm not leading you into something I don't do, which I would never do. Something that I found very, very helpful to me. This is basically all the condensed fruits that you need if you're not able to get it during the day. And if you do get it during the day, it's a great surplus. And here are all the vegetables. And there's the extra water I need, because it is not as hot as it was today. Talk about something that we worked on today and we're going to work on tomorrow. And I think we're going to make make President Trump pretty happy with this one. Look, it's been sticking up my craw for quite some time that this judge in New York, whose name I like to forget, Erdogan, kind of like the dictator in Turkey, who likes to laugh. You remember him. First of all, I want you to know that state Supreme Court justices in New York are politicos. They are not like you think of, like they come from heaven or something. They county leader of the corrupt Democrat Party. And the county leaders of the corrupt Democrat Party generally don't appoint people that are going to be like independent of them. Get it? Okay. So among others, are corrupt in a number of respects. This would illustrate it better than anything else. He valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million. Is that correct, Ted?
That's right.
This is just a quick picture of Mar-a-Lago. But I want to tell you about Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago is property here that goes goes from water to water, from ocean to intercoastal. Even the Breakers, which is the very, very fine old hotel, doesn't go to the intracoastal. It is cut off by Palm Beach Towers. It's cut off by the Baptist Church. It's cut off by about 3 blocks of stores. And it's cut off by then houses that are put there that have nothing to do with Breakers. So this goes from sea to shining sea. In other words, it has an ocean front with an ocean club, and it has intracoastal front. So you can see across into West Palm, and you can see across to England. It is one of the few, if the only, property in Palm Beach that has that. The judge listed it at 18 million, and today the New York Post, in one of its really cheaper shots, kind of agreed with the judge because the tax accountant said that's what it was worth. I don't have the article from the Post with me. I thought I did, but it is quite disgusting because it says the tax accountant said, well, at most it would be 26 million. Now, they are confusing something deliberately to be dishonest. The tax value, the value for taxation of your household property is not the value of your property. It's the amount that the city, state, or county has decided it wants to impose on you for computing the tax. It trails generally in good times or in hot markets, it substantially trails a value. So today we went and looked at what you do to determine real estate value. You look at comparables. You look at what are they asking for properties like Mar-a-Lago. Now, there is no property like Mar-a-Lago on Palm Beach, which makes it probably able to, at about the highest you want to. There is no property that both goes from intracoastal on the one end to ocean on the other. There is no property that, in addition to having a home, has a full and complete club and a large ballroom that is probably the first or second most used on the island in a competition with the Breakers. It not only has lodging in the main beautiful, but it has a number. I haven't even counted the number of cabins it has. I used to stay in a 2-bedroom cabin, for 5 years on and off. And that's on the intracoastal side. It has a complete group of about 16 cabins on the ocean. And ones that are above that could hold entire families. It also has a complete beach. It has a beach club. It has a restaurant on the beach. It has several restaurants inside. Today we went and looked at a property that's valued $1 billion. It is 7. What was the name of it? 7?
7 La Costa.
Yeah, 7 La Costa. It is in a less valuable area of Palm Beach. It is 1/20th the size of Mar-a-Lago. It does not have access to the ocean. The ocean is about a half a mile away. The intracoastal is about half a mile away. In order to get to it, you have to walk through city streets, and you have to walk through people's houses. It looks to be about the size of the exercise area in Mar-a-Lago. It is being sold for $40 million, more than twice the value that this judge, who has got to be one of two C's, kooky or crooked, to do that. Show them a picture of that.
Do you want to play a video or a picture?
We'll show them a picture, and then if you stay tuned for America's Mayor Confidential, we'll show you the entire video of all these places, all of whom were valued for more than Mar-a-Lago, and not a single one of them was even 1/15. The best one was 1/15 the size of Mar-a-Lago. And they were valued at 50%, 100% more, including an empty piece of property valued for how much, Ted? 50 billion?
200 million.
Oh, 200 million.
Crazy.
Yeah, 200 million, empty piece of property. And they say that 500 million to $1 billion is too much for Mar-a-Lago. Like hell it is.
Now they say, okay, we're gonna show this picture. And now it's a nice house. We're not saying it's not a nice house, but
Of course
take
it's a
this
nice-
and then.
I don't have a house like that, and I would love to have a house like that.
Oh, come on.
But-
You've had houses like that.
I never had a house like that.
Okay.
I had a beautiful house in Southampton, but it isn't Mar-a-Lago.
So we're playing, so we're going to show this picture here. We're having some tech difficulties here. And then if you stick around, you'll get to see
You get to
the
see our
mayor
tour
now.
today.
But here it is. Nice house.
Which
Now
we're gonna
compare that to
continue.
Mar-a-Lago.
Now we're going to. Now that looks like it is smaller than the ballroom of Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah,
I would say
it is.
we're going to go to the ballroom of Mar-a-Lago tomorrow, and we'll take a picture of it. I'm guessing if not, it's about the same size, but the ballroom is just one of about 10 buildings.
Yeah.
And then we got a good look at the driveway, and I know Mar-a-Lago really well. I stayed there 40 times, or 50 times or something. Many times. And I would say if you ran the whole course of that house, you wouldn't get from the gate to the entrance to Mar-a-Lago. I think you'd be about
That's right.
3/4 of the way. And then there's the rest of Mar-a-Lago going to the ocean, which is 3 times more, and the rest of Mar-a-Lago going to. So the judge made a corrupt ruling, instigated by a corrupt attorney general. And I don't think he ever bothered to come down here and look at it. And I do not remember anybody in the press going about doing comparables. Isn't that the way you determine the value of real estate? You want to put your house on the market, you go figure out what the other people around you were asking for it. And if somebody's asking $200 million for an empty piece of land, anywhere near the size of yours, and you got a complete group of houses, and you don't say yours is 2-3 times that. Boy, I'm going to tell you what it proves. It proves a lot of things. But it proves that the Democrat Party in New York is completely corrupt. You know that if you just look at the budget. The budget of New York State is 2 times the budget of Florida, more than 2 times the budget of Florida, and it has 2 million less people, 3 million less people. The budget of New York City is more than the budget of Florida, and it has about 12 million less people. Where does that money go? It goes to graft, corruption, to the Democratic county leader. Point the judges. The judges are not independent when they come from corrupt Democrat cities. If you think that, you're very naive. They're controlled by the politicians. And that's why the election was stolen in corrupt Democrat cities. Well, that valuation tells you this judge, he could be very, very dumb or senile, but if he isn't, there's got to be something very dishonest about him. Well, we'll be back tomorrow night, and tomorrow night we'll bring you some stuff on Mar-a-Lago and a couple of other comparisons that will knock your head off the bench. God bless you. God bless the state of Israel. And God bless America. Our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense. written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever.